8. This class, a lot of these problems have been fantastic. Almost every single one.
Okay.
Because I checked, yeah. Almost every single one. So kind of like a mirror of the first block class. Good. Very good.
Oh, 40 is what?
Gisela, did you ever homework from last night? So guys, just like what Mr. Berto said, make sure you guys copy down 1, 2, and 3 on the board, and then rule 1, 2, and 3 right there. These are things that will kind of have to be ingrained into your memory here for rule 1, 2, and 3, percent to decimal, decimal to percent, and then turning a fraction to percent. Now somebody would say, well, why don't we turn a percent to fraction? But really it's just the reverse, so we're not going to put up that as well. So make sure all those things are written down. You will be allowed to use those as a reference tomorrow on your test. Again, make sure they're all written down.
Make sure you copy 1, 2, and 3.
And make sure your books, guys, are all turned to page 158. So Ariel, you gotta go to page 158. Melanie, page 158. Caleb, page 158. Paulo, page 158. Emily, page 158. Okay. And then in the front, even though that's not a problem, right above my microwave right there, make sure you copy down that number in the decimal, because we all have to have place value down by now. That's supposed to be a 3rd and 4th grade skill, but we have to know place value. Have to know place value numbers before the decimal and after. That's not something that we should be going over, but still, it's something that I put up anyway, so make sure that you copy it down so that you can use it as a reference.
I'll give you guys maybe about 5 more minutes. And make sure you have 1, 2, and 3. They're not solved yet, but we will go over them, okay?
Yeah, these are the 3 different kind of word problems
Yeah,
that Mr. Berto and I will be giving you guys tomorrow on your test. So that's why they'll only come in these 3 different formats. All right? Make sure you have them down.
Number 3 is on the backboard as well. your hand if you're done copying 1, 2, 3, and the rules. Okay, so don't take words, don't taking notes. So at 12:55, we'll go ahead and start, okay? Going over all these problems.
Yeah, be ready.
All right. We're gonna go ahead and go over this. Yesterday, you guys worked on, I think, the exact same thing, right? Okay, so when you go from a percentage of a number, when you have a problem that says, what is a percentage of a certain number, okay? So when you see this, what should you do? Marco, what did you do on your homework last night? So you had a problem like this, what did you do first?
No, but think about what she's asking. What's the first step that you have to do up there before you can even multiply? You have to do something. What do you have to do with the percent, Marcos? Change it into a what in order to multiply? Not a whole number. Somebody help them out. What do we do with percentages? Always with a percentage. You can't do something with a percent, and the reason why is because it's a percent, so we must change it into something special. So Marcos, I want you copying this down. So what do we have to do with the percent? Kaylee, help them out. What do we have to do? And how do you do that, Kaylee?
2 to the left.
How many to the left?
2.
Yep, and that is why everything is written down on these boards just like it is right over here. Because look what it says right over there, rule 1. Percent to decimal, just like what Kaylee just said. 2 to the left. Always 2 to the left. Alright, so whenever we have anything that's a percent, Marcos, we move it 2 places to the left and we have to change it into a decimal. Because then from there, then we can do what? Then we can multiply. So help her out. Walk Miss Alberto through it, Marcos, now. Okay?
So you multiply by the number, right? Okay. So everyone on your paper, go ahead and solve this problem out quickly.
Yeah, so put down 0.15 times 23 and let's see what we get. And I know you probably already have the answer, so just wait 1 second, buddy, okay?
Once you got an answer, go ahead and raise your hand. Alright. Is this a correct answer? Are you sure? Look at it again. What do we have up here? We have a decimal and a whole number. So when you have your answer, what am I forgetting? I should see hands starting to go up.
What is she forgetting? What about the decimals?
Where should it go? Yeah, between 3 and 4, guys. Don't forget that you multiply a decimal by a whole number. I can't just leave it 345. You need to make sure you put your decimal where it's at. So I have there's 2 spaces. So I move in my answer, you move 2 spaces to the left. So 1, 2. So 3.45 is your answer. Make sure you have that down. So you do this process whenever you're finding the percentage of a number. So what is the percentage of a number? And
Yeah.
you did that yesterday, right?
So let's do one like right off the top of our head right now. I'm going to make one up. Ready? Write this down on your paper. What is 80% of 67? Everybody do that one right now, and I'll say it again. And would you mind writing it down too? So what is, and if you want to open up a new page real quick, what is 80% of 67? So let's see you guys do this, okay? So what is 80% of 67? So we're just going to kind of do this on the fly right now. Make sure that we're all on the same page. Mr. Berto's kind enough that she's putting it up there on the board for you. Okay, and you guys are going to tell her. I don't want her to be able to ask a question because you guys should be able to automatically right now come up with the correct procedure in order to move the percent into a decimal and then ultimately do what? Find the percent of that number.
You have the answer? So what do you do? So explain the process.
You do 0.80 times,
Okay, but why though? I don't understand. Tell me why.
because you move the decimal from after the 0 to before the 8.
Okay, but why do you have to do that? That's what I'm asking you. Why do we have to do that?
You have to turn the percent into a decimal.
Very good. That's what I'm getting you guys to say. You have to realize you can't multiply by a percent. Okay? You cannot multiply by a percent. So in order to multiply by a percent, we must have to change it into decimal. Even on a calculator like this, where you can multiply it by a percent, the calculator still does not multiply it by a percent. The calculator's programming still changes the percentage into a decimal in order to multiply that number. Does everybody understand that? So that's why we have to do it. We have to change the percent into a decimal.